Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 8 of Fable-top. Diddy isn't with us again this week for more personal reasoning, but today I am joined with the DM of my Friday game. We've made mention to him many times before. Welcome to Lee.
Hello.
As is normal on Fable-top, whenever we have a guest on, we open the floor up to the guest and their topic of the day. Lee, what is your topic of the day?
Well, I'd like to talk about flavour and multiclassing. Two things I think are important to...
They are. I know you've only had like minor experience with me as a DM, but flavour is something, because I work theatre of the mind, kind of, so being descriptive and flavour is a big part for me.
Yeah.
And through playing with you, I know as well you are all about flavour.
Gotta have that flavour.
So, what to you is the most important thing about adding flavour to a situation or a character?
Well, I think it has to be not impossible for the character to be able to do. And if you're doing something, you want to make it your own. You don't want to be just like your average. You want to make it unique to yourself. And yeah, I think that's a big part of, if you're flavouring something, it tends to make a character that you make a uniqueness to it, to make it your own character, separate it from your average wizard, fighter, whatever, run-of-the-mill. And I think if you do flavour them and you put that more effort into it, you get a better connection with the character. They become more personal.
Yeah, no, 100%. I get... Because I only recently found out that playing purple tieflings isn't super unique, which was a bit disheartening, but I'd like to think that how I've built up Killian kind of has made him unique in and of himself.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I would go as far as to say I'm not your average cleric. Yeah, definitely not. But what I appreciate about the way you handle flavour as well is, like, as long like, because we've discussed amongst ourselves, like on this podcast and amongst players in and out of game as well, your way of handling stuff, because you very much operate by like the rule of cool.
Yeah.
Like, if it's cool and it's not game breaking, you allow it.
Yeah.
So when it came to Killian getting his scythe from Ezekiel, or what I used to call Reggie, I think, I don't know why, but like, I think it's because I've always wanted to play a warlock with a packed weapon. Yeah. That when I asked if I could, just make, because it's a magical Reaper scythe, if I could just make it disappear and reappear at will, I didn't really see any reason why that would be game breaking, and fortunately you saw that the same way as well. But yeah, I think just adding little twists, like another example would be when I use Misty Step. Like, traditionally you disappear as mist.
Yeah. But
mine is more like a pseudo teleport where I literally slash reality and step through like the veil.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that either. It makes your character in a way, rather than just another character. Yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of examples of it. Obviously, if characters who are wearing like plate mail, chainmail, or leather armor, if they like draw their own characters, or if they pull pictures off of Google or whatever, their armor is never just stereotypical armor.
Yeah,
they've always got like their own flourishes on that, so that's flavour in its own way as well.
Yeah.
We will leave me out of this next question.
Go on.
But who do you think, in all of the games you've played so far, has had one of the best implications? Implications? Is that the word I want to use? I can't think of the word.
I don't know.
Instance. Who has had one of the best instances of adding flavour to their character?
In just our Friday games that we've played, or throughout?
No, across the board.
Ooh, that is a tough one. I
mean, if it's easier, we can whittle it down.
Yeah, but... we'll go with. I think outside of the game I play with you, it would be one of my players called Kai. He plays, I think it's a cleric, but his god is the Raven Queen. So a lot of the spells that they use, like with Bless, they have a raven that comes down and it'll sit on the shoulder of the person who's blessed and stuff. So it is really, really good. I absolutely adore that character.
That's actually that's really clever.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this game, man. It's just like everyone's got a thing that just I wish I thought of at some point.
But yeah, it's they're really things like that. I just absolutely love, and I think in Tasha's they put in a page just about it. I think if I got it up on here, yeah, on page 116, they give you a decent amount of information for new players on ideas on how to flavor your spells and the likes, the abilities, and to me that is really essential for any new player to get your creative juices flowing, some idea of what limitations you can. But again, it's all down to your DM whether they want to put a restriction on it.
Yeah. I suppose like when it comes to new players especially as well, they probably don't realise that they can put a twist on more or less anything they do.
Yeah.
Something we talked about in a previous episode about like roleplay and stuff and like helping characters come out. I mean, because you do it quite well actually. Like you're never just like, well, like last Friday for example, I used Aura of Purity for the first time.
Yeah.
And instead of me just saying, "Oh, I fired off this spell," you was like, "Okay, well, how does this spell trigger?"
Yeah.
It's not, and yeah, that's like a really good way of encouraging players, especially new players, to realize that there is more to this game than just I cast a spell. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
You can make it your own.
Yeah, exactly. But now I am going to put you on the spot and ask in the Friday game, who is your favorite flavor? Who has had your favorite flavor?
Without you in the running, or?
Yeah, because I don't want you to feel obligated to pick me because you're sat.
Yeah, it would be Third. The way they do with their spells and everything, I pretty much, yeah, I do like theirs.
Yeah, Third is a very unique character.
Yeah.
He has been mentioned before that he does carry like 3 personalities with him. Like there's like the core Third and then Third and Ward. And because obviously we'll call him Third in this one because when we talk about him in the Thursday game we call him Zenfire.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it came to Third first handling that character, I think it was a bit overwhelming for him.
Oh yeah.
Because he took it a very unique, like with like trigger words and whatnot. But yeah, like I have to give like kudos to Third for managing that character as well as he has so far.
Yeah, he's done a really good job on that.
100%. But I suppose I'm really bad at segues. You'll come to find. I know in our Thursday game, Third wanted, or at one point actually did multiclass. Which was another topic you wanted to discuss.
Oh, yeah.
What's your... I mean, I know because when I mentioned I might multiclass, we went into it.
Yeah.
But how do you handle multiclassing?
For me, it has to be organic and it has to make sense. You can't just go, right, what does my character need? I'm a fighter. Or we're coming up against some thingies. I would like the shield spell, boost my AC with a reaction. My reaction's going to spare most of the time anyway, so I'm going to dip into wizard or something like that. For me, that's a no. If you've not shown any interest into, like your character's shown any interest into learning the arcane arts, nothing, that would be a no because it just doesn't make sense. If, however, the fighter had been like, oh, what's that magic item you've got there? I'm quite interested in that. Or these books, quite interesting, or something like that. Then, yeah, that would make sense. He's already got an inkling to the arcane arts, and yeah, it would make sense to drop into that, but it has to be organic and make sense. That's the only stipulation I have.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfectly within reason. because of what was going on with Killian when I was looking at multiclassing, I was looking at Warlock.
Yeah.
And I could justify Warlock.
Oh yeah, easily.
And then in my Thursday game when I played Diego, I was also looking at multiclassing. I could have taken him the monk route because he's quite a dexterous character anyway.
Yeah.
He's lacking in close range. He focuses mostly on range, so it could have been a way for him to want to like round out his skills in case.
Yeah.
You know, he, because we actually had a situation where we were imprisoned and lost our gear. So maybe like monk training, you know, after that situation, it would have made sense for him to go, I should probably work on that.
Yeah.
And then because he's also an arcane trickster, I was thinking of maybe taking it the wizard route or the sorcerer route. More than likely the sorcerer, kind of like his... no, sorcerer wouldn't work because that's in inherited. So it probably would have been wizard thinking about it. But
yeah.
I think this is something that still gets me, and it's probably get a lot of players, like new and old, is multiclassing makes me nervous because I feel like if I multiclass, that then takes away the full potential of the original class I picked, and I'm worried about losing out on that potential.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You definitely lose some of the higher abilities if you do multiclass. You're not going to get that top notch, but then your abilities are much wider on that spectrum, so you've got more options of what you can fall back on and stuff. There's a lot. It can go both ways. I think they do quite a well balanced thing with it, as you know, like if you do go into multiclassing, you're not going to get end game spells and stuff that other people will be able to cast, but you'll have that edge on other things that you'll get. So like I said, with fighter, if you went for wizard, you get the spell casting and everything. Most fighters don't have that, so where you're really up close and you've got the spell casting to fall back on, shield spell and mirror image and stuff like that, always good things to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, yeah, you get, it's like you said, you get like a different range of skills across the board, so like your fighter then can shoot fireballs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you don't, like, once you multiclass, and I think this is something I need to get out of my head, you don't need to commit past that first level.
Oh,
technically.
No. Yeah, no. It can just be just that one time where you've gone, well, I want to just, this is where I'm going at the moment, and you can always drop back. And I think a lot of people slip up on, because I was talking to the wife about this before, she was asking, how does it actually work? So if you were a level 9 character, and you'd already gone into other levels on things, how does it work? Do you get all your level 9 stuff for each of them? And I was like, well, no. You think about it like your main character is level 9. That's what you are. So say if you were 6 levels in one and 3 in another, that's what you'd be. You'd be like 6 levels in fighter, 3 in wizard. So that's how you'd balance out. So you take the first 3 levels in the wizard and have all the abilities up to that. But I think it can be daunting for new players as well with the...
Yeah. One thing that's tripped me up with multiclassing is there's stat requirements that people probably don't realise.
Yeah, a lot of people overlook that.
Yeah, so I was looking at multiclassing into a monk originally, and that requires 13 wisdom, and Diego's not that wise. Wizard, he could do, because one of the major stats... because he's an arcane trickster.
Yeah, intelligence.
Yeah, so my intelligence was already there. The only issue with it is until I hit like level 3 in wizard, which at the stage we're on in this campaign, leveling is probably every couple of months at this point.
Yeah.
Level 1 and level 2 are no different from my level 8 arcane trickster. Like, I'll have access to the same spells. It might change my like spell save DC and my attack modifiers. It might even give me a couple more spell slots, but aside from that, it doesn't give me access to higher level spells or any different spells.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's a lie. Arcane Trickster has spells that are mostly like illusion based. They have very few offensive spells.
Yeah.
So I suppose leveling in Wizard actually to like defeat my own point would be I would actually have access to more.
You'd get a more variety of spells.
Yeah. but then I've seen how broken rogues get in the later levels.
Yeah.
And I want to be that.
Yeah. It's trade-off, isn't it? Which do you go for?
Well, that's one thing I think is really cool. So level, I want to say 16 or 18, you get a skill called Spell Thief. So if someone casts a spell on you, they have to make a DC 18 save, and if they fail that save, the spell's negated, and I get that spell for 8 hours.
That's pretty.
So it's kind of a cheap way for me to, like, not just the wizard spell list, like that's the warlock spell list, cleric spells, like the whole board. Yeah, so it's not a horrible trade-off because at least you get to like dabble on occasion. But yeah, no, I haven't actually in my game had instances where a character has wanted to multi-class, so I haven't had to think for myself how I'd handle that.
Yeah.
But I do agree, and I'm very much a fan of the way you handle it, where it has to make like thematic sense.
Yeah.
Like, either through character backstory, through whatever's going on in that campaign right now, or like you said, if like a fighter saw someone cast magic and he goes, "Oh, I want to do that."
Yeah.
You know, like plants that seed. I suppose I'll have to wait until all that comes up for me. No one in the Friday games multi-classing at the minute, are they? Oh,
yeah.
No, Liz.
Bard, Rogue, I think. Yeah,
so
that's where the sneak attack would come from.
I probably say this like every episode, but it's just stuff like this that's just like the grab, like the draw to this game. It is essentially, you can be what you want.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Within reason anyway, or like to the DM's discretion. But yeah, I think that's one thing I'm really appreciative of as well is you and Diddy have both been very accommodating to at least some of the ideas I've had for my character. I know I messaged you the other night about saying I'm not going to mention it out loud.
Yeah.
But they were saying I wanted to do a Killian, and you was like, "Yeah, that's fucking cool." I'm like, "That's sick." But it goes back to Flavour, because what I asked for was essentially an upcoming event could happen, and as a result of that, if it's successful, I would like this to happen to Killian.
Yeah.
And it's basically just aesthetic.
Yeah.
But because I really want to lean into one specific thing, and I think you know what I'm talking about. I don't know, it's just really exciting, and the fact that, again, yourself and Diddy have provided these opportunities for me to just basically let my imagination run wild. I don't know, without sounding too cheesy or corny, I suppose I just wanted to say thank you, man.
All right. It's okay.
I mean, I don't know how to follow that up. I'm trying to think of questions to go back to like Flavour and multiclass. I had one point that came to me last night I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And
go for it.
I would if I could remember it. It's fine. These long pauses, like, you'd be surprised how many long pauses we actually cut out of an episode.
That's alright.
Oh, man. I completely forgot what I was gonna... Oh, Christ. What the fuck was it? This is gonna bug me now.
Your brain's just giving up now.
Yeah, it's just one of those... It's like, you know, you're trying to remember, and the harder you try to remember, the more it slips from you.
Yeah, the further it goes away.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of something else, and it's just... I think my brain knows what I'm trying to do. Alright, we'll move on. I've got another question that we'll go on for now, but...
Okay.
So... We've talked about how Flavour can enhance not just players and characters, but like the world at large. In your opinion, are there any kind of flavouring or any kind of twists that you would absolutely deny? Anything that's like broken, distasteful?
Well, I try to speak to the players beforehand, before we start the game, and get what people are not comfortable with talking about, what like topics that they just are strictly no-goes areas and stuff. Like some people don't mind blood and gore and stuff, and I know we had a situation where I felt a bit uncomfortable when I presented it to the group. It was with...
You're talking about Sam.
Yeah. That was a bit uncomfortable. It was a bit of a... But I wanted to try and rile you guys up, and nobody had said they were uncomfortable with this sort of stuff when I'd asked, like in the start of the campaign. So I think it was a bit of a shock to everybody, but
yeah,
I mean, it played out. I think it worked well, but I think you really have to get to know your players and try and find out where their limits are of what to not push them to. Yeah,
I mean, I'll put a quick little disclaimer here because I do want to bring the subject to light, because I think it... so if you're not a fan of anything to do with death and infant death, this will be your turning off point, or I will, if I remember, I will put a little timestamp where you can click after and we'll continue from there. So essentially what happened is we were in the Abyss.
Yep.
And we stumbled across the soul or spirit of a dwarven male called Sam. We managed to frighten off the creatures surrounding him, and then when we asked him why he was here, he's like, I murdered babies. And that was probably the first time in this campaign I actually heard the entire party just kind of go silent, and then everyone almost in unison just went, the fuck did he say?
Yeah. I was like, uh-oh. But
that's something, I suppose, could be a topic for another day, or it might have relate to something we talked previously, but I think something players could benefit from as well is realizing there is a disconnect from the game and reality.
Yeah.
Like, this is something he's only made reference to. It's still grim.
Yeah.
But it's not like you made us witness a flashback of it.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, I know some players, for all different reasons, would find that troubling.
Yeah.
But, like you said, I think it had the desired effect, and I think your plan that you had at that point worked. I think you had, like, okay, so they're going to figure this out, but then I know what this group's like. They're then going to try and use this to their advantage. Just so you know, we did kill the guy.
They did.
Or we re-killed him because he was already dead. Was it... I don't remember if it was myself or someone else who hit him once and he just, like, evaporated.
I think it was... Yeah, I think it might have been you that finished him off, because you wanted to reap his soul for your weapon, didn't you?
Yeah, because this goes back to Flavour as well, is one of the things in that situation that happened. So my character Killian has a scythe which lets me harvest souls. I'm effectively like a reaper in training, and my scythe's ability is called Mercy, so I basically, send them off peacefully. And this is the first time I messaged Lee on the side, and I was like, can I corrupt this to just, like, destroy the soul or send him to hell? Because in my mind, that would make sense. Like, Killian at that point would have just snapped, because he's already here under stressful conditions trying to return 3 souls of people he just inadvertently got killed. And now he's come across this guy. That would have been a snapping point, so it would have made sense. And this would have gone into the Warlock subclass as well, or like the multiclass, that at that point, Sank would have corrupted ever so slightly, and would have corrupted the Mercy ability into... I can't think of... What's the opposite of Mercy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that word.
Anti-Mercy. But that's something I think is one of your strengths as a DM as well. Like, you know us as a party well enough, even though Lynn and Hemlock were... I think that was their first or second session. And like, you understand us well enough to know how we would react in those situations. So stuff like that comes naturally. We can react appropriately. Yeah. Anything you'd like to
add? Yeah. What is your stance on like? Are you for flavouring? What are your stipulations? I know you said you agree mostly with like if it's like makes sense and not game breaking. What are your like stipulations on the flavouring?
I'm much the same ballpark as you. Like I mentioned earlier, my games are theatre of the mind.
Yeah.
So I have to be as descriptive as possible, and I do try to encourage it in my players as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm much in the same boat as you. Like, as long as it's not too game breaking, little flourishes, little twists are fine by me. Admittedly, and I'm going to sound like a huge hypocrite, I probably wouldn't let someone go as far as to be able to materialize a weapon at will, unless it made sense.
Yeah.
So in the game I run at the moment, I have a trying to remember what Turnip is. Turnip's the Blood Hunter, Horatio is a Bard, and Davith is a Cleric. So someone like Davith may be a higher level, you know, like his faith to his god allows this to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I've never actually put much thought into it. I'd like to think my DMing style is a mashup of what I have seen and learned from you and Diddy.
Yeah.
So my campaign isn't as fantastical as yours is, with like kobolds and dragons. It's more in line with like humanoid races, like Diddy does, but I'm very much more on the magic side of things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you kind of set the precedent for like the rule of cool. I appreciate when players, because everyone's like that like absolute meme of, oh, it's what my player would do, or like what my character would do. I think if you can do something without having to justify it with that sentence, and people are like, yeah, that's completely what he would do, I think that's when you know you're doing a character right.
Yeah.
And one thing, like a little bit of like flavor and saying that played to the personality is Diddy plays a character called Horatio in the Wednesday game.
Yeah.
In the storyline they were playing through, it had been probably about 2 or 3 days since they'd been in like civilization, and they finally make it to this floating city. And as soon as he steps out and he realizes this is, you know, like civilization, he's like, oh, you'll see Horatio, he's shaking, he's got like jitters, he's very nervous and uncomfortable. And I know what's going on because Diddy and I had talked about it before, but the others were like, what is it, like nerves? Is it like agoraphobia? And he just goes, no, I need a drink. Like, we need to find a pub. And yeah, like an entire situation I wasn't expecting, just from him getting the jitters from not having a drink. And, you know, he went to the bar, he like described the drinks he was gonna get, like he bought a cigar. He basically took that moment to put some flavour on this situation by playing out the fact that his character is like an alcohol dependent noble.
Yeah. That's cool.
And yeah, it's stuff like that. Obviously, we've mentioned Thurward and his multiple personalities and how he uses the duality of his gods to, you know, inform his decisions.
Yeah.
Davith in the Friday game, obviously, he holds very strongly to the beliefs he held onto from training as a monk.
Yeah.
And like his monkiness, like, means he puts spins on stuff that, you know, like, because obviously he doesn't have weapons, he doesn't have magic, so yeah. All of his flavor comes from basically how he describes how he kicks someone in the junk. It's, yeah, I know this probably hasn't been like a super good answer to your question.
It's an answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I think to surmise, I am all for any forms of flavor, so long as it doesn't break the game and it doesn't betray your character.
Yeah, that's a fair answer, to be honest.
I'm trying to think of like other examples of flavor that I've seen. I suppose that's a question. Like, we're sitting here calling it flavor. Like, at this point, we've said flavor so many times in my brain, it's just lost all meaning. Like, how you've been playing D&D how long?
Let me see now. Maybe 3-4 years. I've only been DMing for 2 years though.
Oh, so you're basically on par with Diddy then?
Yeah.
In terms of, I mean, effectively, I've only been DMing really for probably the last 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Had some time off in between that as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd say 3 months at a push I've been DMing for. It's just, I suppose my question, and this probably has a super simple answer to it, and I'm assuming the answer is no. But was Flavour ever referred to as anything else, or
not that I can think of, or nothing that springs to mind?
Yeah, because I'm just sitting here thinking, at least in D&D there are loads of meme words, and I'm wondering if Flavour's become one of them at that point. But then I'm thinking that probably comes from games like World of Warcraft, where you've got flavor text.
Yeah. It might be the only word that I can think of that comes to mind that's the heading for in Tasha's guide is personalizing.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, customizing as well. Yeah. I suppose comes to mind, but
I still prefer Flavour.
Yeah. So when we had Mark on, we didn't stick to the 1 or 2 topic rule. We kind of hopped about different. Are there any other little topics you'd like to touch on?
Oh, it's not really a little topic, but yeah, it's.
We can try and condense it.
Yeah. It's basically character separation from your character. This is one that I myself have really struggled with when I've been playing games and stuff. Playing D&D. It's been a real hard thing for me. When your character, somebody says something to your character, you take it personally, and it's really hard. This is one thing I've definitely struggled with. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something I can relate to because last Friday, no, not the most recent game, the week before that, I also had a situation like that.
Yeah.
Where I effectively rage quit for 10 minutes.
But sometimes it's needed just to take a step back from that and then take a breath, a minute, and get your head back in to realise that people aren't personally attacking you, that it's how characters are interacting.
Yeah, I think for me, trying to justify myself, I don't know. I tried it because it's basically going to sound like I'm making excuses, but yeah, I think I think I get so immersed into what's going on, because I am truly an advocate that when the game starts, you are no longer Bonehead. You are now Killian or Diego.
Yeah, and
in that situation, a character that I had at first jokingly had my eye on, eventually got to a full-on romance at this point. And then a day after that happened, he's like, right, I'm gonna go and fight this dragon on my own, you will run. I might die, but YOLO.
Pretty much.
And in that in that situation, I'm sitting here thinking, fuck, my boyfriend's gonna die. Clarification on that, Killian's bisexual. Probably should have led in with that. But yeah, in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, from Killian's mindset, I don't know where my mentor is. They might have died. I got 2 people killed and had to go and get their souls back. I then got 3 people killed and had to go and get 2 of their souls back. I can't fucking handle losing another person.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm in this situation. I am watching Arcadius march off towards a fucking red dragon. And I get and I appreciate, people stopping me and don't do it, you're a friend, we don't want to lose you. I get that was all in the thing, but I think the frustration Killian was feeling at that point was legitimate as well. Of course. And it wasn't pretty. I did get angry. I did slam the desk. I can admit that. It wasn't wasn't my proudest moment.
But if you admit these things and you can see what's happening, but that just shows how much connection you have to a character. It's not entirely a bad thing or anything like that. I never see it as like a really bad attribute, but it's just you always have to try and remember that there's you and then there's your character. You can step into their shoes, but you need to realize that when people say things to that character, it's not to you personally, and that is a really difficult thing. I've found it myself with sometimes, and there's been times where I've not slept at night after a game because I've been like, why the hell did they do that to my character? Like they're like, are they just picking on me? But it's not me that they're picking on.
Yeah, no, I mean, after that, I basically spent that entire weekend right up until like Wednesday morning, where I was like, I'm gonna call the game off. I'm not gonna play anymore. I'm gonna message Diddy. I'm gonna message Lee. I'm gonna thank you for the time and never see him again. And then it literally got to like 6:30, and I was like, I've just got to get over myself. I'm being fucking ridiculous. I just need to. And I think like a really good bad example of this is Dylan.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spoke to him. Link in the description at the BoneheadCollective for the Dylan video. The difference between like what happened with me and him was he used the excuse that's what my character would do, as one does, as a like shield.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't playing his character, he was just using his character as a vessel to deliver his shittiness unto others.
Oh yeah.
And I believe, I could be wrong, you can correct me on this, but I believe you tried talking to him afterwards explaining this.
I did.
And he basically just like fucked you off.
Yeah. So, what can you can only try so much. Things that help me with trying to separate myself from the character. Before every game I play with, going into play as my character, I'll put on a piece of music that I relate to that character while I'm having a shower. Then try and think of, right, leaving Lee here, and then I'm going out. Now I'm stepping into my character. And then before the game finishes, something similar, and step out of my character's shoes and back into me.
It's almost like a pre-game ritual.
Yeah, it's working. It's with the characters I've got now. It's working with, but I'm not staying up as late as I normally would when after a game and stressing over things. But yeah, they're definitely things that I think help me personally anyway.
Yeah, it's something I need to get one of those, because we've had situations in games where it's effectively come to blows, and for one reason or another, we've lost players, or in Dylan's case, kicked characters. And in that moment, I remember I messaged you apologizing because I was like, I'm turning into the problem player.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was becoming that. And I think that's because one of the things with me is like, if something happens that someone doesn't appreciate, I do tend to keep it in the back of my mind. And seeing how everyone reacted to my reaction, it is something I'm going to be very conscious of going forward.
Yeah.
I think I'm like, I need something like you've got. I just need something put in place that if it gets to that situation, I could be like, right, I need to disconnect for a second, just let everyone know, where I stand. I think someone mentioned like a safe word or something. So
something pickle something, a banana pickle something. I think it was David that mentioned it.
We needed something in place that like, if we have a plan in character, that we're not going to relate to the other characters, but out of character, you could be like, look, I've got a plan, just trust me on this. Yeah. We do need something like that without breaking the immersion.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably something I'm going to work on.
But yeah, it's been good, and it's not always a bad thing to be doing, because it does, like I said, it does show that you were invested in this character, and it's not a bad thing to have. And sometimes you do need to just step back and take a minute and then come back to the situation. And that.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it is as well is like, even though I've played in games before, Diego and Killian are effectively the first 2 characters I've actually had a chance to play.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very much a like commit to the bit kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like I might not have almost said his name. I might not have Zenfire's knack for accents.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I'm very much the whole, like, don't say that's what your character would do. Be your character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think the fact that I do get as heated as I did in that last session, as awkward as it might have been for the others, I think that just speaks to how well this campaign you're running's crafted. And Diddy's as well. Like, we mentioned it on one episode, but I fucking cried in one of the sessions he's done. And the fact that you both are evoking an emotion from me, that just speaks, 1, to the power of the game.
Yeah.
Just like how immersed you can be, and 2, just again to like how well crafted like these campaigns are. And it can be a double-edged sword at times.
Oh yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse to be able to like have these moments, but in a weird way, I think it betters me as a person as well.
Yeah.
Because you know, you might unconsciously project your flaws onto your character. And then someone's like, ooh, hold on, that's a bit much. And you're like, oh, fuck, maybe that is something to take into consideration.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I know Diddy's going to watch this, and I don't want him to feel like I'm leaving him out. But speaking exclusively just for your game, I am thoroughly enjoying everything that's gone on so far. It has been a fucking roller coaster. Like, the emotional whiplash... It's one of those hurt so good kind of things. And I'm excited because I believe you're joining the Wednesday game now.
I am. Yep.
So I'm hoping I can live up to an expectation, or at least like, because in terms of world building, I don't think I'm going to hold a candle to you realistically, but I'm hoping there's enough going on that you enjoy the world. And that reminds me, I need to give you like a whole catch-up thing as well at some point.
Yeah, that's all right.
But we've run a little bit over.
Yeah, I thought we might with that last one. It's a good topic though.
It is, and one thing I have been thinking of is probably extending these to maybe closer to an hour.
Yeah.
Just because, like, you know, it just gives more room for conversation, but I suppose
of course
we only really go one topic at a time usually.
Yeah.
But unless there's anything else you'd like to touch on really quick, I think that's us done.
No. I'll save my other stuff for
next time. Yeah, man. Well, like we said to Zen, like we said to Mark, like whenever you want to come on, just give us a shout.
Oh, definitely.
No problem at all.
Definitely will.
But yeah. Thank you again for coming on.
That's
I know
okay.
this was a little bit last minute asking you to come on.
It's all right.
But it's been a blast.
It's nice to be on.
Yeah, man. It's just always good to shoot the shit.
It is.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying the content as it goes forward. Hope you're enjoying its new home on the Fable-top channel. As for now, I've been Bonehead.
I've been Lee.
I did that to Mark last time. I didn't warn him I was going to do that. It was like... But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Ta-ra!
See ya.